Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right into a truly fascinating journey today, looking at the meticulous world of automotive preservation based on our source material. We're talking about a comprehensive refurbishment. It's a process where absolute pinpoint precision meets a deep reverence for history. So, let's unpack what it actually takes to resurrect a specific piece of mid-century design.
Returning a mid-century American car to its original glory. Honestly, that quote right there, that is the ultimate, awe-inspiring goal of the rigorous process we're about to explore. We aren't just talking about getting a vintage vehicle to simply run safely down the road. Original glory implies an uncompromising, literal commitment to historical authenticity.
Okay, let's dive into this and really establish the stakes here. How does our source actually define automotive preservation? Well, it is the comprehensive refurbishment and full restoration of a historic vehicle to return it to its original glory. Notice that emphasis on a full restoration? We are looking at a total, uncompromising dedication to historical accuracy, literally leaving absolutely no detail overlooked. Section 1. The Mid-Century Classic. Let's find out exactly what historic vehicle is at the absolute center of this full restoration project.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the specific identity of the car. We're looking at a vintage 1956 Ford Parklane. It's a classic station wagon and a quintessential mid-century American car. These aren't just, casual descriptions thrown around. They are precise descriptors from the text that elevate this vehicle from just an old car into a true piece of history.
Section 2, the rebuilding phase. Let's move to and see how this builds as we shift our focus to the actual, gritty reality of the work.
So the source material we're looking at actually serves as a dedicated guide or showcase, really, for this rebuilding phase of the historic vehicle. Instead of just showing us a polished, finished product at the end, it tracks the literal step-by-step technical journey required for a full restoration project. It's absolutely invaluable if you're invested in how this complex preservation stuff actually happens.
Right, so the source breaks this technical journey down into three distinct conceptual phases. Step 1 is the overarching rebuilding phase itself, and that essentially hinges on Step 2, the mechanical overhaul, and Step 3, the aesthetic overhaul. This gives us a really clear roadmap of the comprehensive refurbishment. You simply can't claim you fully restored a historic vehicle without pulling off both of these specialized disciplines.
Section 3, mechanical versus aesthetic overhaul. Now get ready, because we're going to look at the two very distinct halves of this restoration process and really highlight the contrast in the work.
And this brilliantly illustrates the dividing line between these two worlds of expertise. On one hand, you have the mechanical overhaul. That's the punchy, technical process of rebuilding the classic station wagon's internal systems, making the machine breathe and move again. But then on the other hand, you have the aesthetic overhaul. This is the smoother, reverent visual artistry required to visually preserve the vintage historic vehicle. They're two completely contrasting disciplines, but absolutely equally mandatory.
Section 4. Returning to original glory. Let's slow things down a bit here and talk about the final aesthetic and philosophical conclusion of this massive project.
So the crucial point is that this content tracks the entire journey of returning a mid-century American car to its original glory, and it's catering directly to automotive preservation enthusiasts. Everything we've unpacked today, the dual overhauls, the artistry, the comprehensive refurbishment, it's all ultimately a documented journey dedicated to those of us who deeply value preserving our history.
Which brings us to the end and leaves us with this incredible question. What mid-century history is waiting to be returned to its original glory? We've seen this rigorous journey for the 1956 Ford Parklane, but it really makes you wonder, what other historic treasures are out there right now, tucked away in a garage somewhere, just waiting for their own preservation? I really hope this sparked your curiosity today. Thanks so much for joining us, and keep your eyes open for the history waiting around you.